Aloha, Brett Christensen with Maui Property. In this video, it's all of my footage of the Q&A section of the recent FEMA meeting here on Maui. Now, there were lots of questions. I didn't put them all in there. I tried to edit this down and make it as short as possible. You'll hear it gets a little heated at times. I thought FEMA did a great job answering people's questions the best they could. And I made another video with the actual presentation, so that's a different one. And so broke this off just to shorten it up. All right, if you have any questions, you can contact me directly. My info is below. My name is Brett Christensen with Maui Property. I'm the broker in charge. Enjoy the video.
First off, the fees. I was under the impression that there's a cap for 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms.
In our particular area, that won't cover the owner's AOAO fees, GST tax, utilities, and the mortgage. So how is that addressed? Is there a cap on it and all the fees have to come out of that, or do you add on?
Great question. So I'm going to repeat the question. So she's saying that there was a cap that was presented, I believe, on the news is where you probably heard it, about $5,000 for particular units. There were some ranges that was given. And so what we go by is our property managers get the details from you as, like you said, you have HOA fees, you have the GE fees, those taxes. Those are the things that are considered, which is a separate and apart from the rental rate. There's some other fees that go with it. We need to know if your unit is furnished, if it's not furnished, how much those utilities normally run. So all that is addressed through the property managers to come up with the rate that they will be presenting to you.
Can local property managers work with FEMA? The way it's been described, there's a question.
We're not asking you to sever those relationships. We are asking you can still maintain your income that you were receiving as a property manager with them, and also use our property managers. So some of the property managers have brought in their units to use, and they are working with our property managers so that you don't sever any relationships with them.
FEMA property manager or the local?
That is the local property managers work it out with that agreement of payment with our.
I'm also a realtor and a property manager with a local company. And the 3 companies that you gave, I wrote one, he never wrote back.
Okay.
The other one was very aggressive and confusing.
Okay.
And so I don't want, one of the reasons I wouldn't went through FEMA is because of them.
Okay.
And I own and I can manage my own through the company I work with, which is Equity One, and it's a local company. They only do Maui, nothing else. And your people, they're not even local. They're in Las Vegas, they're not even licensed. They're not, we have to go, when we manage our property, or we have a property manager, that property manager or the owner have to be on island. They can't even be in Oahu. You people in Las Vegas, Miami, Guyana.
Okay.
I mean,
okay. Can I address some of the questions that you presented to us?
Yeah.
Okay. So our property managers that are here, they do have local people that are representing them here that are on site. You have to be able to manage the property. They can't do it on state. They are here locally to manage the units here on site. At the time when we first opened up Direct Lease, there was an opportunity for management companies such as yourself to be part of Direct Lease at that time. Let me finish. Excuse me, let me finish. So at that time, when we did open it up, and it was to be part of contracting, you have to go through SAM.gov. So there was a whole 30 days of getting the information out there to the community the best that we can to still quickly try to get the program up and running at that time so that we can begin start housing. So then, now that we're here now, as we know and hear your concerns here right now, there may be another opportunity that we will be presenting for the local community to become part of this. But the first thing, and that's the reason why we have SAM.gov here, is because we need to know how many property managers that are locally that want to become part of this program. So that is why we are here as well.
SAM.gov, I've never heard that.
And that's why, and that is why we're here today, to kind of help you get through some of your questions with your units, because we do want to work with you. We do need your units, and we do want everyone to be part of this direct lease that can. So that's why we're giving the information out. So SAM.gov, in order for me to write a contract with your property management company, we will walk you through how to get registered.
When do you get paid from FEMA? Is it on the first, his mortgage is due on the third? How does the payment work monthly?
That question can be answered by our property manager. We pay them, they invoice us. We pay them on a monthly basis. We pay our property manager. Your need, when it is assessed by them, they can work out that agreement with you on how you're needing to be paid to make sure that those funds come to you in a proper time. Yes.
Because the program looks like it's marketed to short-term vacation rental owners. So we're just kind of wondering if it's also for like key day villages, like places that are long-term.
Yes, long-term rentals.
Like 180 days or greater. Those sorts of owners can also participate in this program.
Yes, for the long-term ones, yes.
So I was here 2 weeks ago
Yes.
with 3 other property owners, friends of mine, so that's 4 of us with properties. And for the last 2 weeks, we haven't really gotten anywhere as far as, and we're trying to get people into our units. And it just seems there's a lot of misinformation. So in 2 weeks, we haven't gotten anywhere. What we're trying to do is get people into our units, but we're trying to get friends in, right? I have all my friends were down behind and they lost their homes, and I'm trying to get a friend in. So I was told I can pick my tenant, then I was told I couldn't pick my tenant. Then I was told to have my tenant, or potential tenant, go to FEMA directly, and he was just told this morning that he can't pick his unit. So I'm being told I can't pick my tenant, he's being told he can't pick his unit.
The reason why we had the applicant contact FEMA is because we need to make sure they're eligible for direct lease. Because there's other programs that they may be eligible for, and they may not be applicable to our direct lease program. If they fit into our program, then we do have a process in place where we begin that process with getting them housed into our units when they give us your information and working with our property managers.
Okay, so in my case, I don't know about the other 3 owners, he was registered with the direct lease. He had the number, so he was registered. So when I went to choose him, they said no. He was just sent to AI, and he wanted to choose my unit, and AI told him no. So this is what I mean, it's just, so I've been trying to do this for 2 weeks, and we're getting nowhere, and the place is empty, and it's killing me because he needs a place, he's in a hotel. My place is empty, and I'm not getting anywhere. Okay, so will AI...
I just want to simplify it for you.
Well,
Our individual assistance is nothing more than a title of a program
Okay.
that where FEMA is authorized to deliver assistance to individuals impacted by disasters. Underneath that, there's different programs. I talked about providing rent or direct housing. So those are 2 programs underneath there. So what she's talking about today is a program underneath that organization. I think what she's saying is typically we don't do what you're asking to do, but because of the limited number, because what we don't want to do is not be equitable to everyone, right? And we run some of those risks when we start choosing A over B or C over D, right?
Right.
We're allowing this to happen as long as the displaced person is initiating that process, right? And so because it's not normal, there's probably a little confusion in the bureaucracy of our organization, but what she's saying is we're clearing that up. This is something new that came up as an idea, 2 weeks ago as an idea in the last meeting, and we said, let's do it. So we will work that out and clarify that. But we'll work your individual issue out right now.
Okay, thank you.
Which rules and codes you guys are using and following for your program? Because as far as we could tell, the property managers listed as the property managers in the paperwork aren't licensed in the state of Hawaii, and as far as we can tell, maybe there's an exception for it under the homeless programs of HRS 346. But that same section also exempts them from kind of important parts of real estate here, including the residential landlord tenant code. So We were hoping to get some answers on what codes and rules you guys would be following. Owners want to know how their property will be managed more so than just what the basic policy is, what rules and laws are guiding it.
So what we're going to be able to do is, although I don't have all your answers regarding the policies here, that would have to be something that is vetted through our legal. But what I can provide you with is the rules and regulations or the standard that our direct lease follows at this time. But if you could leave me your information with, and I will get back with you to answer your questions in those areas, because I don't have an answer for everything right now, but only can provide you, again, the standards that we have in place.
Hi, I'm a property manager as well. I just spoke with all of the property managers that you all selected for us, and they were all wonderful. They had great information, different information, and some of them gave different things. One good thing, I think, that should serve us all, is that they said that in the lease that our owners sign, they could designate their local property manager as the manager on site. And if that is true, that would be wonderful. And I also want to find out if in fact that is true, can the checks go to our trust so we can run it through our system and pay their bills like we normally do? Because that would be very helpful to the owners as well. And then also, is there a written amount of money written down that everybody knows? If we go to FEMA with our owners, one-bedroom owner is going to get $5,000, two-bedroom, 7, three-bedroom, I think 9,000. Because I was told by a couple of property managers that you guys selected for us that the rates were different. And I want to know how they're paid. How are these people paid to manage our properties? That's very important to some of our owners. And lastly, is there a cap on damages? That's it.
Okay. So, speaking with your communication for you managing it locally, that is true. Excuse me, that is true. The amounts for each unit is different. Everyone's home is different. So there's no flat rate for 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, because it has to be assessed at the needs of your property. Some people may have it furnished, some of them don't. Some of them have different utilities. There's different things that is associated with each unit uniquely, so we can't have a flat rate. They have the ability, and that is in their profession, to be able to provide you with the fair rate for your unit. So that's why there's no consistent, whether they are going to be really close in what a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and 3-bedroom offer. A cap, a damages, yes. So there's no cap. We have to restore your unit back to the way we received it. So the damages that happen in your unit will be repaired back to and restored back.
First of all, how are fines assessed and dealt with? Because any AOAO fines the owner, smoking being the big thing, at $250 a pop. The owner's the one that gets fined. How do we deal with that? Because that can really hurt.
That's a good question, hasn't come up yet. But so when there is a violation that happens, and if there's any cost associated with it, that is something that the property managers will communicate to us, and that is something that we would have to pay.
Just a thought, you can really get hurt on utilities, especially with air conditioning. You know, if a person doesn't pay for utilities, open the window and turn on the air conditioning. I mean, I have this issue with short-term rentals also, so that's just a concern.
Okay, thank you.
Here, homeowners will feel much more, not that much more comfortable, 100% comfortable if our current property managers would handle with the FEMA. If you give them the same job, why FEMA real?
Yeah, so I think we understand the issue of property management, but just let's go back a couple months where we had an industry day where we invited property managers here, where we put out a request for proposal that anyone on island could apply to be a property manager for us. And we didn't receive, yes, we did it. It's official. Once the government goes out, it's for the record. We did do that. Okay, so let me just talk. You gotta let me talk, because I'm gonna tell you what we did. And we didn't receive proposals. Then what we did is we received proposals from other companies we usually work with. and they are here on island now working. I think what Dimitri said earlier is that if someone wants to be a property manager and work directly with us, sign up to the SAM site, become a property manager, and build a relationship with us. That's why we brought them here today, to help you. So for those that are upset property managers, because we are working directly with owners now, and I just sent 13,000 letters to them because the property managers weren't working with us. I mean, I've met with property managers for the last month and a half. I had a meeting with 9 big ones November 9th that didn't bring any resources to the table. I offered to go ahead and put them into SAMs. So if there's property managers here right now that want to work directly for us, sign up to the SAM site and become a property manager and build a relationship with us. We're willing to do it, we're willing to help you do it, but what we can't do is go ahead and work directly with you without going through that site, how become a contractor. So in the interim, the way you can do it is you can work through our property managers, okay? I think we've made it pretty clear here today on the property management side. Really what we want to do is lease units. So if there's owners out there that want to lease units, we're glad to do it through your property manager, through ours, or just sign up to SAMs and become a recognized property manager with our system, or direct lease to us, and we'll lease directly to you.
There is like 18 or 24 months rental period. After that rental period, if I do not want to continue, and people who leave, they will not have a place to go, how I take them out?
So we have a process that we do have to go through. But when our program does end, they are given the sufficient time notice to find other housing. And so at that time, if they choose not to and continue to stay, unfortunately, we do have to do the eviction process. But once the program ends there, most of the time, there may be a 1%, one out of the housing mission that did not leave on time, but did leave after our program ended, and we did not have to go through the eviction process. Most of all of our housing, our survivors that have used this program have left in the timely fashion that they were supposed to go through. We do give them enough time to make sure they can find proper housing.
So I'm a property owner where I lived there a long time, a little 1-bedroom, 2-bath. What kind of monitoring in terms of, let's say you have the 2 people living there and then the relatives come and they stay, violates the HOA rules, it puts wear and tear on the unit. What kind of vigilance could we expect in terms of your eyes and ears?
We do have violations on that as well. They know that they cannot stay long periods of time. There is, in part of the agreement that they do sign with FEMA, there is, they can't stay for, I don't know the exact time. I don't know if it's 5 days, but it's according, but let me just back up to something you said. You said that you have guidelines through your HOA. Those guidelines are provided to them, and that is what they have to follow. If they violate it, then that is a penalty against them.
So what's the tolerance? You talked about it depends how many violations or words to that effect. When I heard that it could be numerous, I wondered why beyond one, but typically what happens with FEMA in terms of their tolerance for violations in units?
So there's different levels of violations, and that's why I can't speak to in general. So when we're saying there's a certain violation that breaks the law, that's not tolerated. That's something we can't do. If it's something where they're not maintaining the unit so far as maybe the grass has to be cut or whatever, and that's a violation, we have to correct it. If they don't correct it, then that's when they have to be, the penalties assessed. So it depends on the level of the penalty of the violation that happens.
What's the frequency of your property manager going to knock on the door and say, just take a look at what's going on inside? Does that happen, or does it have to wait for an incident that gets reported?
No.
And then someone comes along? What's your role of the property manager to take a look at what's going on in that unit?
So the caseworker that comes by once a month is the one who comes monthly to that unit, outside of what the property manager has agreed with you as to the frequency of them maintaining that property, if the work orders are there. But our caseworker is the one who comes into that unit once a month to sit down with them and assess all that.
So I reached out to all 3 of your property managers, 2 didn't phone back. one did. The experience I had was being welcomed and being sent a lease and when are you going to sign up? And I learned years ago that when someone wants an answer now, the answer is always no. Am I involved in a sort of a property manager by property manager negotiation as to what the terms might be, or what should I do in terms of approaching these managers if I want to put my unit in this program?
You're asking, so you don't have.
I felt like I was in a negotiation.
I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is you can contact that one property manager and go with that one. It's up to you. You don't have to call each one individually. That's why it sounds like it is, so to speak.
You're not getting my point. My point is, will they be the same or will they be different?
So there will be a little difference because of how they assess your unit. I can't speak for how they negotiate because I can't control that negotiation, but they can't go over an amount that your unit or under what your unit would be valued at.
So I've got a question about people that own licensed, permitted bed and breakfast. So bed and breakfast means that each individual room just has like a college dorm size fridge and a microwave and a sink. So it's not a full kitchen. Can those people also participate in this program? Is that something FEMA is interested in?
That does not, it cannot qualify for the type of units that we're needing to house the families in.